All right, hey, welcome to VMware Skyline, the race to zero. I'm Matt Puthoff, I'm a staff technical adoption manager for VMware. Thank you for visiting us at Explore, and thank you to VBrownBag for having us here. So I'm gonna take you through a quick introduction into Skyline, and then we're gonna kind of jump in and say, hey, we installed it, we turned it on, now we got all this stuff. How do we start dealing with this stuff? So just before we start here, who has Skyline in their environment right now? Awesome. Who's using it every day? Awesome, okay, so maybe ahead of the curve here. So basically, race to zero, how the race begins, we'll get into kind of just the interface, and we'll jump down through some findings and what my experience in my with my customers on how we kind of started tackling findings and getting it out of Skyline and kind of the next steps to get that finding number down to zero, right? So you guys are all familiar with the interface here. Actually probably has changed a little bit since this last snapshot, but we're gonna focus on the findings panel here, right? How we go out, we have our different types of finding types, and then we choose troubleshooting. Generally, that's what I recommend customers to go to first, right? Go through your troubleshooting stuff that's gonna, hey, if it happens or if it might happen, that's the stuff that we wanna avoid in terms of outages and stuff like that. And as you guys know, generally, when you go into the findings, and you have your critical ones, and then you drill in, you can see your objects. You have that incident, and what's the leadership's the next question is after the problem is, so how big of a deal is this? What's the impact radius, right? So you can go right into Skyline, pull down that finding, provide that list, export it out in a nice CSV, and you can provide that to your leadership and or problem management teams. With the troubleshooting ones, where do we start? Always look for the disk failure, full, down, lost, right? Look at those, see if those apply to you, and make sure those are the ones that you kind of want to address at a first to kind of close them out, because those are the ones that will cause the problems. And then what to look for after this, look for the VCF, right? Those are the former VVDs, those are all your hardening configuration stuff, thresholds, versions, and then we move down into the life cycle and drivers and all that stuff from a configuration standpoint. Make sure those findings that have a high number of objects, those are always good ones to get taken care of, because obviously that's a large portion of your environment. And then I always like the risk if not taken once you dive into those findings. If it's just a cosmetic fix, if it's something that's functional or configuration. And then getting started, I always recommend people to go out here and check out the catalog, right? Subscribe to those Skyline release notes on a monthly basis, right? They always have the new findings that come out, the new hot KBs, articles that GSS has put in there, the new VMSAs. Sorry, can't say that this morning. Those are all good ones to know that they're in there, because you're going to get asked that question, right? The VMSA comes out, security team comes out and says, hey, VMware just put this out. How does that affect us? I don't know, give me 30 seconds and I'll let you know, right? So you could provide those lists out there too. Helps you with the upgrades, right? Hey, I want to upgrade my vCenter. Again, you can probably see how dated the 6.7 vCenter here is. Where are my incompatibilities? Oh yeah, we still have that NSXT or V environment that's still out there. Yeah, that might be a problem. So it kind of provides that pathway, and you can use this to build your proactive SRs, and put out those plans to GSS, and they can approve that for you. And then to quickly run through this, right? This is how we keep on running the race. I always say, don't be afraid to jump in there. You can hide findings, but make sure you always go back to them, right? Keep your focus into a particular environment. Don't try to tackle and boil the ocean all at once. I'm sure some of you have very large environments where you get into remediation of thousands of hosts compared to multiple clusters or anything like that. Know your environment, know what's important and what's not, because there's a lot of findings in here that some of you guys will look at and say, okay, that really doesn't apply to me. I'm not worried about that. That's some other group's problem. And hide those, but make sure you always go back to them, because you never know when those will come back and kind of nip you in the butt. And then my favorite saying, to be good at lifecycle management, you need to actually do lifecycle management, right? Start small and work out from there. And then kind of your next steps is you bring your Skyline into your operations tools through ARIA operations. And if you haven't looked, the product team has put out a whole Skyline Insights where you can leverage APIs to pull the findings information out into all kinds of different tools. So you can find a lot of those tools here. The QR code will bring you out to a GitHub README file that has all the how to get started, the API tools, a bunch of links out there. So check those out. And then as part of the ARIA group here, if you click the code, fill out the survey, you can get some ARIA swag there as well. What's that? Yep. Shoot.
Is it offered as an on-prem offering?
Yes. Okay. Oh no, yeah. I'll get to you here in a second. So I'm going to go off stage here, and we have Sunny from the product team over here. We can answer some questions that you guys have.